twice in the last week. He's gone for half a century and beyond. The Lakers have won just twice since the All-Star break, and they've needed over 100 points from LeBron James to do it. He's averaged 53 points in their 2 wins. He is also the first player in league history with multiple 50-point games after turning 35 years old. So LeBron is unbelievable. That isn't exactly breaking news. But here's the question, Wilbon. Has this week been good or bad for the Lakers?
It's irrelevant. LeBron's not irrelevant. LeBron's always relevant. Why do I turn these games on at this point? I turn the games on to watch LeBron James. I turn them on with my son to say, we're going to watch LeBron James like you watch like we're going to watch Tom Brady, like we're going to, you know, all of the great players you want to watch. But don't tell me it's relevant, because the next, first of all, LeBron now at 37 has that sore knee, and they announced it's a significant soreness, and he can't play in the next game. They shouldn't have to depend on LeBron to that degree to win games if we're going to take them seriously as a team. This is not about LeBron. This is about the Lakers. And every week we do the same thing. We go, oh, have they turned the corner? Have they righted the ship? No, they haven't.
Because we tend to give the benefit of the doubt to LeBron and to the Lakers. And Stephen A., you just heard Woj talking about the return of Anthony Davis. If they do get him back and LeBron shows he can do this, can they still do something?
Possibly. And I want to say that. And that's a tough thing coming out of my mouth, because I firmly believe the Lakers are trash. Let's be very, very clear about that. They're trash right now. I don't like them at all. And Wilbon has every right to feel the way that he feels. But I'm going to give you my answer by reminding Wilbon of the things that he has said. First of all, the number 2 seed is the Memphis Grizzlies, okay? If you're the Los Angeles Lakers and you're battling for the play-in spot, if the Los Angeles Lakers are lucky enough to win the play-in and find themselves as a 7th seed, that's who they go up against. Wilbon has religiously sat on the national airwaves singing that song and that I don't care. Young teams don't win. They never, ever do. Well, last time I took, what I'm saying is this. When you look at what LeBron is doing, here's my only caveat. I know the Lakers have no business being favored. I know they've been trash all season. By the way, LeBron James and Russell Westbrook combined for 55 points last night. 50 for LeBron, 5 for Russell Westbrook, 2 for 11 shooter. But what I'm saying is this. In the end, if LeBron is LeBron and Anthony Davis comes back healthy, can we definitively say they can't win a first-round series against Memphis?
Stephen A., I have to bow to the legend of Michael Wilbon on this one. He first told me that Russell Westbrook should come off the bench. I argued with him, and he was right. Now that that hasn't happened, the Lakers won't get to a 7th seed.
I'm not saying they will.
Their road is so tough, they got to probably beat the Pelicans. Then they're going to probably have to beat the Clippers or Minnesota to get the A seed. And if they get the A seed, you know who they play in the first round? The Phoenix Suns.
No. I'm saying, but if they get to the 7th,
if they wind up against Memphis, who wins that series? A healthy LeBron and AD
they don't get swept. I give LeBron and James a ton of credit. He's
I'm going to go against my usual bromide. I'm going to go against it. If they play Memphis in the first of all, John Morant's a different dude.
Yes.
Right? And he's not a rookie or a second-year player. But I get what you're saying. But the Lakers. Stephen A., how many weeks we going to wait on the Lakers?
Yeah. I understand the Clipper point, but I want Mike Wilbon and Jalen Rose to recognize the fact that a national television audience is watching their words. You are saying that LeBron James, if he's playing like that, with a healthy Anthony Davis, can't beat a New Orleans, can't beat a Minnesota to get to a Memphis Grizzlies? That's what y'all saying?
And they're going to have enough left? Because what have they done after 2 or 3 games, Stephen A.? They fall flat and they can't get up.
I just finished saying, you going to say they can't beat a Minnesota in a 1-game series or a 2-game series, or they can't beat a New Orleans Pelicans? Are y'all out your mind?
Hold on. You leaving out the Clippers.
I said not the Clippers.
Hold on.
I said not
you was at that game, too.
The Clippers will beat them. The Clippers will beat them.
You was at that game.
Will beat them.
What were they chanting? You from New York. You weren't in Yankee Stadium.
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't say the Clippers.
That's a week ago.
I said New Orleans or Minnesota.
Okay.
Since that game, LeBron James has scored 50 points twice. By the way,
wiggled out of that one.
LeBron James leads the NBA in scoring. He's 37 years old, and right now he is the NBA's leading scorer. The stars are out and they're thinking championship thoughts. Welcome to the C-Part, brought to you by Chase. This is Stephen A. Smith, Michael Wilbon, Jalen Rose. I'm Mike Greenberg. We have a great one for you, and we will talk plenty about Steph, Giannis, and company in a moment. But our opening tip takes us back to Thursday night in Philadelphia. It's been just 48 hours since the Nets flat dismantled the Sixers. It was the first meeting between the two teams since the blockbuster trade involving James Harden and Ben Simmons. The storylines were endless headed into and coming out of that game, where you saw those fans coming out of the arena early. Stephen A., you were there in person. What was your #1 takeaway from Thursday night?
Other than the fact that I was disgusted with a blowout, because I like competition. When blowouts waste my time, I have better things to do with my life than watching annihilation. But outside of that, the #1 thing that jumped out of my mind, I got to take a moment to applaud Kyrie Irving. The guy scored 22 points. Okay, 8 of 17 shooting. Shot 50% from the field, shot 45% from three-point range. That wasn't it for me, fellas. The brother picked up James Harden from opening tap. Tip-off time came. Kyrie Irving was guarding James Harden. They were running, finding themselves in a position where you could double. Kyrie went like this. Get away. Get away. I got him. So all of this noise that you hear about what may have transpired in practice between the two and all of that stuff, I dismissed it until Thursday night. Then I said, oh, that really did happen. Oh, damn. James Harden, this is not a good night for you. That's what stood out in my mind. We love the game of basketball, fellas. When you see somebody step up and go like this, all right, it's me and you. We here now. What's up? Harden did that. I'm sorry. Kyrie did that. Harden did not show up. That is the #1 thing that I left and departed from the Wells Fargo Center with.
When Kyrie was the primary defender on Harden, Harden shot 1 for 8 from the floor. It was a bad night for him. Jalen, what was your #1 takeaway?
My takeaway is that James Harden didn't take it personal. Everything you just said, like Wilbon's going to talk about the multiple meltdowns that James Harden has had in the playoffs, but like I've been traded before. And I played against a former team, and I wasn't good enough to quit on 2 franchises. And when they come and play against you, and Ben Simmons, the guy you got traded for, ain't even playing, and y'all get waxed the way they did, and I got a stat for you. James Harden 0 for 10 on shots for 2-point range.
Yeah.
Floaters and layups. You know what that is? Legs. So let me just tell you this. We're talking about him going to Philly. There's been some all-time greats to play on the floor and roam the streets. And there's an etiquette. If you're going to be out and about, champagning and campaigning after the game, those guys before you, they put in work on the court.
Nah.
They wasn't getting blown out by 30 points when KD and Kyrie came to town. KD played with a purpose. That's what I got to say.
Campaigning and campaigning. Great phrases of all time. We're going to stay on the notion of James Harden.
Yeah.
Because he was about as impactful on the game as Ben Simmons. He wasn't there. And Jalen referred to this. So I started thinking, wait a minute, this is like James Harden in June. All those years in a red uniform that we saw him in Houston. 1 year looking for his mouthpiece on the floor in the conference finals against Golden State. This is a problem. I mean, we've been talking, we already declared, and I avoided answering the phone Thursday night.
Yes, he did.
I'm
glad you brought it up, because I was.
People said,
I was.
Is that Stephen A. on your phone? No, I don't see a phone. My phone's not ringing.
I called them 3 times. The party, I was in the car, Greenie. I was in the car driving from the arena, and I didn't think to call anybody on this planet but Michael Wilbon, and he wouldn't answer the phone.
If James Harden didn't answer the bell, neither was I needing to.
Was it a couple?
I mean, how bad was he? When is he going to perform?
It was awful. It was awful. And I'll tell you this much. You brought up the fact that, you know what, he does this in June. Actually, no, you got to get to June.
Well, late
He
May.
ain't got
Late
to
May.
June. Late May.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's make sure. And as far as what you said, I don't want to hear anything about champagne and campaigning. I want to hear all that.
Yeah.
What happened ain't a matter of legs. It's a matter of this.
Correct.
Kyrie Irving said, I'm here.
Correct.
What you going to do?
Correct.
I'm right here in front of your face. I talked about you. I talked about you. I said what I needed to say. Now I'm here. What you going to do? And Harden didn't answer.
Isn't Harden too good a player?
Yes.
Yes.
Top 75.
Yes.
He won the 75 greatest
what are we
of all
talking
time.
about?
I'm saying he didn't show up.
But again, you talked your way out of there again, like Jalen said, a second franchise.
Right.
You said you wanted to be with Embiid. You insulted your former teammates.
Yep.
You said, oh, now I have a guy who can do all these things. Where were you?
That's right.
And is this, I don't expect this to continue.
Wait a minute. You don't get, hold on. You don't get to talk like this, Mike Wilbon. Not you. Forget the Nets. They're not together. I don't know what I'm going to get from them. Philly's the team.
I didn't.
You feel that way now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Super important question.
Okay.
Super important question before I run to a new topic. If you're a Sixers fan, how worried are you about exactly this? That in the biggest moments, James Harden doesn't show up?
I'm very worried because it was the Golden State Warriors. We had 12 turnovers. These are the games you're talking about. The San Antonio Spurs, where he didn't show up in the first half, and they got waxed by 39. And then when the Houston Rockets had an NBA playoff record, missed 27 straight threes.
Right. Appreciate the numbers. Appreciate
star
the stats.
players
Appreciate the stats. Let's simplify. Excuse me. We got a national audience. Millions are watching us because we those dudes, okay? Here's the bottom line. I'm writing the epitaph on the Philadelphia 76ers right now.
One game?
I don't give a, I could care less. I told you. Let me tell you something right now. As long as Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are healthy on the court together, book it. It's a wrap. If Philly ain't going anywhere, which brings us back to what I said about that trade to begin with. Greeny, you make
One
a
game.
We will have Kevin Durant tomorrow on our air. We will have the Nets and the Knicks right here.
The best player in the world.
On ABC tomorrow. He did
best
serve
player
that
in the
They got him.